Hello, I'm James Jack, the head of the Business Owners Client segment for UBS Wealth Management USA, and I'm excited today to bring to you two great authors, venture capitalists and entrepreneurs, Mark Achler and Mert Iseri, who are the authors of Exit Right, a new book that UBS is the presenting sponsor of. Gentlemen, welcome. And before we get into the key parts of the book, I'd love for you just to tell me what made you guys write this book.
Well, James, thanks so much. We are so grateful for your sponsorship and friendship. The book was a labor of love. We wrote the book because it was critical information for business owners. There's such a mystery around transactions, and we felt that we needed to collect the wisdom out there that was really hard for business owners to access. And it was the information that we wish we had before we sold our first companies. And the emotional and financial complexity of getting a deal to the finish line, it can be exhausting. So we wanted to level the playing field. We wanted to help business owners understand the process, get ahead of the curve, if you will, and even the odds.
So the main theme of the book, Mark and Mert, is the concept of what you guys call the FAIR framework, F-A-I-R. It's an acronym. So Mert, why don't you tell us a little bit about how business owners should be thinking about the FAIR process during their exit?
The fundamental question that any entrepreneur thinks about before they sell a company is this the right partner for me? Am I selling my company to the right buyer? Now, what makes a great exit at a surface level is whoever pays the highest price. That's an answer, but it's an incomplete answer. And as we spoke with more and more serial entrepreneurs, M&A executives, lawyers who specialize in M&A, investment bankers, a pattern starts to emerge. And the fundamental thing we realized is that a great exit looks less like a short-term financial transaction and much more like a long-term partnership where mutual value is created. So the common elements of what makes a great exit is incorporated into that word FAIR. FAIR stands for fit, alignment, integration, and rationale. The four elements of every great exit. Fit stands for cultural fit. Can you get along with these folks over a long term? Can you sit next to them in a flight and have a great time for 4 hours? Alignment is alignment internally within your team, your leadership, your board in terms of where you're going, what a great exit is like, as well as the buyer's internal alignment. Is the CFO in agreement with the CTO that this is the right direction that the parent company should go towards? Integration stands for the strategy of how these two companies are going to come together. And so many examples we saw that, a company gets acquired and 2 years later, their products are still standalone. They're not tapping into the mutual value that the two companies can create together. And it's so critical to have that integration plan in place up front. And then finally, and then only then, is the rationale. Can you explain to your grandma why this acquisition makes sense? Why these two companies will create more value together for their future customers than they could on their own? If you have four of these elements, you're going to have a great exit in your hands, and not just as a financial outcome, but really a long-term home for your business and your vision.